How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and back to the GEO Detective. Many of you have been longing for another one of these, and the last one was just over a bit quick, wasn't it? It was amazing, and I enjoyed it while it lasted, but it was over too quick. This one, I think, should be harder, and this is another heartwarming offering from a young man called Daniel Misseltwerp. And Daniel writes, firstly, that he's obsessed with the GEO Detective series. They're not that good, are they? And he says, I've attached a photo of me and my dad in around the year 2000. Look at that. There he is. There they both are. Great photo. Unfortunately, my dad passed away in 2017 after a long battle with dementia. I now have my own kid and would love nothing more than to recreate this photo in the exact spot with her to help her feel some way connected with her granddad, who she didn't have the pleasure of meeting. That is just touching, isn't it? I know this might be a strange one, as I'm actually in the photo, but I have no recollection of it. So he doesn't know where this was taken at all, does Daniel. From one Brummie to another, technically Black Country, but that's fine. We're Midlanders, West Midlanders. This would be amazing if you could use your expertise to help me. And that's what I'm going to do. There is the photo. Your dad looks like a top bloke. So let's begin. I presume you're from, obviously you're from Britain, you're from Birmingham. But what I was going to say is I think most Brits would pretty safely say that this is either the Mediterranean or the Canary Isles, the latter being in the Atlantic, which I've never been to. The reason I'm saying Canary Isles as a possibility, and I haven't zoomed in on this yet at all, is just because that looks quite bare and almost volcanic looking. And I think white buildings are quite common over there too. However, I'm going to zoom in on something over here which I think rules the Canaries out, and actually rules a lot of places out. I think that is Greek. Ithanici, or I mean, look at the roof of that with the two eyes at either side. They're like acting as columns with like a pantheon style roof, and the whole word just looks very Greek, and that's probably a restaurant, isn't it? So, and that adds up to me, because the buildings, the white buildings, look Greek. On a Greek island, though, I would say a little bit further east than like Kefalonia, for example, more east of the mainland of Greece. Also, the beach, this very golden sand, I don't think you would get on the Canary Isles. So some of you may be thinking that. So yeah, I do think that we are on a Greek island. Well, why don't I just type that in? Ithanici restaurant. Itaki restaurant. No, I don't think we're looking at that. That would have been over pretty quick, wouldn't it? I'm willing to accept that it might not say that. That is a restaurant, though. You can see. So maybe it's Titanic. It's Titanic, isn't it? That is so stupid of me. That's not a H at all. That's an I and a T. It's amazing how letters can deceive you, even when it's quite clear, seemingly. Titanic. Now, problem with this is, there is no restaurant named Titanic in Greece, of course. I was going to say the problem with this is there's going to be loads of Titanic restaurants, but apparently there isn't a single one. Even worse. Okay. For a moment, I thought this was going to be over incredibly quickly and everyone would moan that it was, a short, easy one again. But I don't think this is going to be as simple as we think. And of course, this is the year 2000. I wasn't even considering how, in my mind, that's not that long ago, but It's 25 years ago, so this Titanic restaurant might be long gone, just like the Titanic. A slight dead end already then. Let's think. Just gonna try something. Just get this out of the way. Just in case it is called that. It's taken me to Bod, Lichfield. Titanic Brewery. Bit of local advertising there. So these are the islands that I kind of meant. These more arid, bald ones. This kind of thing here. See, that's sort of the worst image quality. Cheers, Jacques. But you can still see what I mean, right? It kind of not many trees on it. However, there are lots of these islands, and it's kind of paralysing me a bit into going any further because there just are dozens and dozens of them. You know, I will probably have to start going through them at some point. That'll be the grind. But I'm just trying to think if there's any other way. Where's the sun? Sun seems to be over there. Yeah. And you can kind of see their shadows there actually. Sun over there. So it's quite likely that south is that way. Other thing to take into account, we have that mountain in the background. Tide is coming in. That doesn't help me whatsoever, but you can tell from all the messing about on the beach. I'm just trying to... I think this is the afternoon. It feels like the afternoon to me. People are just... It's got an afternoon vibe. Do you know what I mean? People have just been there quite a while. And I'm going to run with that. So if it's afternoon, then it's probably more something like that. So when I search, I'm going to be looking for buildings like this, a nice smallish beach, not too big, but a nice curving shape, mountain in the background, but at the same time it doesn't look too big of a settlement. No really tall buildings like it looks like we have here. So those are the things I'm going to be looking for. But first, I'm just going to see if I can Google anything else. That's weird. Torch of the Acropolis. What? That's really had me going there. Access denied. Dallas, Texas. What the hell? That really had me going. I mean, that is literally the same building, isn't it? The Acropolis, or is it the Pantheon? What's that got to do with Titanic then? Getting a few little Titanic restaurants here. Getting sort of more obscure and obscure as we go. Portimao, Portugal. That one. Can't figure out where that one is. So I'll keep searching a little while longer, just in case. No, I don't think we're going to get it here. I don't think it's on Google Images, and if you think about it, it may well have changed its name. If that's if it still exists. You know, Titanic. That was quite a big thing at the time, wasn't it? The film had just come out 3 years earlier. You know, maybe the owner in 2004 says, let's change the name of the restaurant, make it more contemporary. Let's call it The Pirate. You know, but all in all, it probably doesn't still exist. So that means that I am moving on to the main plan, which is to write down a list of islands that I think this could be on. Just write down a list of about 20, search each coastline. Some of them won't take that long. You know, some of them aren't that populated. Like that one. I think I've just done that one in 10 seconds. If it's Crete, that's going to take a bit longer. But yeah, here we go. I'm going to write my little list. Right, here's my little list. Time to work my way through them. These are kind of probably the most likely ones, so I'll start with them. Beginning with Mykonos. This is it. That would be unbelievable. I'm liking the look of this hill, the colour of it. It's not the same one, but I'm just saying it's you know, in the same neck of the woods, I think. Checked once. This is the thoroughness I need, the organisation I need. Oh, Jacques Lauber strikes again. So as I said earlier, I can pretty quickly rule most places out just by looking at them. Yep, there's sand there, but no street, for example. Or that's too rocky, or that's a big town, but there's no beach there. It's all just sort of harbour. And that speed is what's going to enable me to get this in, hopefully, not a ridiculous time. And there we go. Right, this is going to get boring for you, so I will see you in 3 islands time when I find it. I think I've noticed that actually these ones near Turkey, or maybe it's just the really big ones that are nearer to mainland, aren't that arid and bald and with white buildings. So I'm going to stay in this region for a bit. This looks decent, I've got to say. That would be the restaurant there. It's not the place. The hill is too close to the town. Whereas there it's quite far, I think. But, you know, similar vibe, isn't it? Pretty obscure island, that as well. Right, this could be it. Is that looking like it? No, it can't be. Right, that really looks like the mountain. Just, but how can that be? How can that be peeking through there? Look, what I mean is this bit here. Look at the shape of that. Nothing else adds up. This is quite bizarre. Yeah, actually that's looking slightly less like it now. Yeah, okay, I don't think that's it actually. It's very similar though in certain regards. This bit here, and then that little bump there next to it. But that slants down too much. Do you know, the more I look at this, the more I'm starting to think, what if it is the Canaries? I talked about tide coming in and out earlier. I can't quite tell if it is or not. But it does look like there might be more of a tide here, which you don't really get in the Mediterranean, which would put you on the Atlantic. They do import sand onto the Canaries, despite most of it naturally being black. And yes, that does look incredibly Greek. But what if it's a red herring? And, you know, we've got some strong winds. We've got palm trees. I don't really see... A lot of the time I'm coming in here and I'm seeing these sorts of trees. More olivey types of trees. So I am starting, after, you know, searching about 15 islands, to open my mind to the Canaries here. We do have that extra bit of colour as well. This terracotta and these greens. And you've got a new build back there, which I think is also more likely in the Canaries, more development. Let me just finish these two. What a barnet. What the fuck? Pretty impressive, but who put that in the sea? Right. I am going to head to the Canaries and search these, because there's not many of them. A little bit of searching to do. Oh my god, so modern. You can see though they've got the golden sand in there. Let's just have a little look at this place. Palm trees, check. Barren hillside, check. But doesn't really look like it just yet. This is Tenerife, by the way. So I'm going to head around the coast of Tenerife. I'm looking for an older town. So what does this look like? You can tell that's an older town. It's more higgledy-piggledy. Beach is black. The buildings, though, this is what I want to see. The buildings don't look too far off, do they? I'm drastically changing my mind now. We've got the introduction of more terracotta and greens. Just a bit more colour. Let's keep searching. It looks mad from above, though, doesn't it? I'm whizzing round at the moment, looking for golden beaches with the historic buildings, and I'm not seeing much so far. And that's it. Plenty more islands to go, though. Where's Lanzarote? There, Lanzarote. Let's try that. Got a better feeling about this, despite having never been. Let's just look at the buildings, though. We're not here. Yeah, very white. Golden sand. Imported or not, I don't know. Just gonna skip to Google now a sec. That's not the place. No, okay. I just thought I'd try that, but all we're getting is this one in Tenerife, which isn't it. Oh. God, that's exactly the sort of place, isn't it? Is that it? Look at the wall. The wall is very similar. We don't have a mountain in the background, though. God, there's a lot. Oh my God, I think that's it, actually. Look at that. That building there. Playa Blanca. Wow, this is it. I don't believe it. That is the restaurant Titanic. No. That is. This is 100% it. And it was weird because I went from being about 10% sure because of the lack of mountain and whatnot to almost 100 purely because of this building here. Look at that cornerstone there where it's brown coming down, which we have there, and then just below these bricks. Look, it's undoubted. I mean, there's no way it's not it. Sponsored by infrared ghost hunting equipment. Biggest waste of money you'll ever take part in. So where is this? This is Playa Blanca in just a sea of hotels in Lanzarote. I'm chuffed to get it finally. It didn't take me too long, a couple of hours, but I am a bit embarrassed that I went to Greece first. I am, because I should have got that. But I was distracted by that, you know, and just the white and blue around it and then the sandy beach. But we are here. There's no two ways about it. I want to get a better view. Let's go further down the road. Here we go. Is that still called the Titanic? Was it ever called the Titanic? No, it's changed name as predicted. It's still a hotel, of course, because there's more tourism. But it has changed name. What is going on with that mountain? Okay, we do, yeah. Thank God, we do have that. It's just hiding at the moment behind a lot of buildings. And I wonder, this will be fascinating to do. Because the for anyone who doesn't know, these Canary Islands are just sun, sea and beer for millions of Brits. I've never been, but look how many hotels there are here. It's insane. Hugely popular because it's hot all year round. But if I click on the year 2000, or yeah, there we go, year 2000. Look at that compared to, okay, it actually hasn't changed that much. There are definitely more hotels, but what about this? What about this view here? Yeah, I mean, it's grown, but maybe not quite as much as I thought. And there's a lot of stink, actually, isn't there? Because some of the locals are homeless. They can't get a house. They're all just taken up, which I think is wrong. Anyway, that's Lanzarote. And the mountain we were looking at is this one. Montana Roja. Red Mountain. Which, as I say, would have been more visible, I think, back then. I don't know. There might be a couple of buildings there now blocking that view. Can we definitely not see? Why are they so friggin' low down? There we go. This'll be the one. Yeah, you can see it, look. Thanks again to infrared ghost hunting equipment. That's almost correct. We're a little bit further down. A lot of the colours have stayed the same, to be fair. 25 years on. That is our restaurant. Restaurante Brisa Marina. Prediction was correct that they'd shed the whole Titanic shtick. Anyway, as I say, that is our restaurant Titanic. Let's see if we can find that. Titanic restaurant. Playa Blanca. Nothing coming up. Facebook. Nothing's coming up. That must have closed years ago. Let's put the marker down for Daniel. You can see it curves there, which it does here. So we're about there. I would say. Daniel, what was it? Mistletoe. And that is that. As I say, bit disappointed that I didn't clock that it was the Canaries earlier. What can I say? I'm rusty. That's my usual excuse. But there you have it, Daniel. It might be that you have to take your family and your young daughter over to Lanzarote. Not the end of the world, is it? And holiday down in the south of Lanzarote in Playa Blanca. Plenty of hotels to pick from. And recreate that wonderful photo so you can look at them side by side. Isn't that lovely? I imagine you're like the spitting image of your old man now, so that'll be a really lovely photo. You make sure you find the exact spot, mate. I've got it within 25 meters, I'm pretty sure, but I'll leave the rest up to you. Thank you so much for sending that in. But in the meantime, if you have got some great geodetective ideas, any sort of mystery or a photo with a really poignant story attached to it, but also a photo that makes a good photo with just the right amount of information in there. It doesn't have to be a relative of yours necessarily. It could just be a known mystery that no one's figured out yet. Do send them to this email and make sure you put geodetective in the title of the email, otherwise it may not come up when I search for them. And also, unfortunately, I can't reply to any of the emails, so if it's not quite good enough for whatever reason, or too easy or too hard, I won't have time to reply, sadly. I wish I could. But don't let that deter you from sending them in. Final note, and then I'll let you go. I mean, you can go now if you want. Nothing's stopping you, but Christmas is coming. So do check out the new poster that I've got on my website, Mission Across London. That joins all the other fantastic posters that were amazingly designed by Roman Stevens. They make a great Christmas present if you're thinking of getting one for someone. But so would the Flopsy's Dream t-shirts. They're also on my website. Or if you prefer books, you can check out my mum's murder mystery novels if you haven't already. There's 3 of them. They're fantastic. And yeah, she really appreciates any sales she can get. So that's Christmas sorted. Next up on the GeoWizard channel, tenner in my pocket. And this time I'm in foreign lands. Ein kleiner Bier bitte!